What's good people? So UFC welterweight fighter Themba Gorimbo was recently on the Pivot podcast, and he spoke about his loss and how it devastated him. And when the host of the Pivot podcast asked him why he was so sad and why he was so depressed on losing this fight against Vicente Luque, considering what he has been through, he's lost his parents, he has survived death from dogs in the blood mines, he has survived border police when he was crossing to South Africa, all these things. They asked him, why does this loss hurt you? And he said because he had family members back in South Africa who were celebrating his loss. Now that is extremely disheartening, and you can imagine how he felt. He also further said that the reason he believes these people were celebrating is because they assume he is this mega millionaire because The Rock is sponsoring him. The Rock gifted him a house because they see him in all these interviews that he is a rich dude who should be supporting them, who should be giving them money, and hence when he can't, they feel as though he is betraying them, and they feel entitled to his wealth and every form of money that he makes, and hence they were extremely happy when he lost. This has to be extremely sad for Themba Gorimbo because the dude has been singing this mantra that he'll be a UFC champion in 2024, and then that did not come to fruition, but he was like 2025 is his year, and then he had the fight with Vicente Luque that did not go his way and he lost, and now he must be thinking he was on a 4 fight win streak, 3-4 fight win streak, and then Vicente Luque submits you in like 54 seconds, arguably the quickest submission we've seen in the UFC, and now you have to start again, you have to go back in the drawing board, you have to start from the beginning. Maybe that's how he feels, but ultimately I think Themba Gorimbo should not be hard on himself because there have been plenty of UFC fighters who have started extremely shaky that went on to become UFC champions. You look at the careers of people like Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira had the most losses. He was a jobber in the featherweight division. He went up to the lightweight division and he became a champion. You look at Robert Whittaker when he went up to middleweight, he became a champion. You look at Alex Pereira in the middleweight division, he is a champion in a few fights. Well, Alex Pereira might not be the best example, but there's so many other examples. Glover Teixeira, he became a champion at 40 years old. So Themba Gorimbo should not be hard on himself. He is still extremely young. He's in his prime. Of course, the welterweight division is not a division where you can be a 40-year-old champion, unlike the much heavier divisions, but he's only 32 years old. He still has a lot of his prime ahead of him. He just needs to go back to the drawing board, work on his skills, make sure that he's much more prepared and ready for the next opportunity that the UFC gives him. And to be fair, he took that fight on short notice. He was not prepared. Vicente Luque was in fight camp. As much as Themba might be saying that he's training every single day, it's different when you know who you're training for. Training for the sake of training is not the same as having a full fight camp, preparing for someone, breaking them down, analyzing their weak points, analyzing their strengths. It's much different. Hence, Themba should not be hard on himself, and the family members who are laughing at him and celebrating his loss, he should cut those people out. Those are not his family, because if they can do that, then surely they can stab you and they can do much worse to you when you're not looking.